Good evening and welcome to Weekend Update. I'm your host, Eric Farmer. Today is Saturday, September 20th, 2025. Pretty nice day up here in Gilpin County, Colorado, as we're preparing for the cold weather ahead. It's pretty much all I've been doing with my spare time, trying to cut up and store away as much firewood as I can possibly squirrel away between now and when the snow starts flying. I'm thinking probably a couple more weeks we got. So all the procrastination I've been doing, I gotta take care of the things. Gotta get my furnace again tuned up. I hate that, man. Got to spend $500 a year, probably $600 this year, because everything goes up. Just so my furnace doesn't break down on me and void the warranty. But yeah, also storing away firewood. I got to clean my stovepipe, and then I'm pretty much prepared. So I'm thinking I could put that off till next week. Because I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like cleaning my stovepipe, man. But I don't want to pay someone else to do it either. So I could risk it and go another season. But I've been burning a lot of wood the last couple of years, and I don't want to risk having my stovepipe catch on fire. So I could probably get away with it, I could probably go at least another winter without cleaning the stovepipe. But cleaning the stovepipe will give me peace of mind. I won't be stressing out about it. And also getting the damn furnace. So, yeah. Oh, and I also got to get my septic tank pumped. So, yeah, there's at least $1,000 worth of shit I have to pay for to get ready for winter. But, yeah, fuck yeah. Good times. That's the joy of living here in 2025. Yeah, we just had a little rainstorm move through. Oh, we got a rainbow out there too. Nice. Just as I was saying that, I looked outside, the sun shined through, and we get a rainbow. Too bad the rainbow has been hijacked. Rhinesy, welcome. How you doing? Hello. Yeah, beautiful rainbow out there. Yeah, so yeah, I guess Monday here is the fall equinox, call it, or the autumnal equinox. And then we start, of course, I talk about this a lot. Every year I pretty much talk about the solstice and the equinox and the changing of the clocks, which I really, really dislike. I wish they would just, I always talk about that too. Yeah, we know, Farmer, the changing of the clocks, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it keeps our system all out of tune, man. That's why they'll never do away with it. Like I say every year, like when I was a kid, I heard of daylight savings time, right? Like when I first started going to school. Daylight savings time. It sounds like a great thing, right? When you're a kid, holy shit, that sounds like the most wonderful thing ever. Imagine that. We're saving daylight. What could be a better thing than that? Yeah. That's how they trick us, man. They take these these nasty schemes they have and give it a really nice name so that we will all think it's a great thing. And we will love it, changing our clocks back and forth twice a year. Yeah, I guess there's 2 states in the United States that don't do it. I think it's Hawaii and Arizona are the only 2 states that don't fuck with their clocks. And I think that's interesting. I don't know how the hell do they get away with it in Arizona? That's one reason why I might want to move to Arizona. They don't change their clocks back and forth. There's some pretty nice places in Arizona you can live, like up in the mountains. It's about the only part of Arizona where you would want to live. Oh, the rainbow's gone now. Just that quick. It was a very short-lasting rainbow. Sometimes they last for an hour or two, depending on the conditions. But maybe if the sun comes back out, it'll probably reappear. But yeah, quite a bit of rain here lately, which is a good thing, I think. Yeah, rather get rain in the warm months. But yeah, I'm looking pretty good on my firewood collection. I've almost got all my firewood processed that I have on the property. I have I would say pretty close to 4 cords. And I got 1/3 of a cord left to process. But yeah, I'm pretty good shape from chopping firewood, man. It's a good workout. That's pretty much how it's been. But I got I imagine by next weekend, I'll have all my firewood processed. I'm looking to buy some more firewood, but I haven't been able to get a hold of the person that I bought it from. They advertise every once in a when they got wood available, they'll put an ad out on the internet on the site called Nextdoor. Because I don't use Facebook. They put ads on Facebook too. But I don't do Facebook, man. Wow. That was weird, man. Just went from 7 viewers to none like that. Interesting. So yeah, that's what's going on, man. The transition is upon us. The cold months are coming. Usually we get pretty nice weather September and October. We might get a snowstorm or two in October, some chilly weather. It's usually 50-50, but a lot of nice weather in October. And then November, who knows? Could see November get real bad. I've seen November be real nice. So that's just the way it is, man. Any month of the winter could be mild. Any month of the winter could be brutal. You can't really predict it. Even though the general predictions I've been seeing for this winter, it's going to be a below average as far as temperatures, above average as far as snowfall. So yeah, it's going to. They're calling for a cold, snowy winter this year. So I'm torn on whether or not I want to buy a pass to the ski area and do some snowboarding this winter. I don't think I will, though. We'll see. I guess if I wanted to buy a pass, I should have bought it before now, because the cheaper prices are gone. But I don't care. I don't really care about it if I save $100 or $200. I mean, what can you buy for $100 or $200 these days? Can't even buy a goddamn fucking sandwich. Yeah, people are paying $200 for a sandwich these days. No shit. It's ridiculous. What are you going to do? Inflation. We live in a bad time right now. Anyways, yeah. What in the heck is going on this week, except for the definitely the end of summer and the beginning of fall. Some people don't like the term fall. They like to use the autumn. I guess fall sounds negative, maybe how it got the name fall, because the temperatures fall and the leaves fall off the trees. That's a big thing going on up here this week. It's just about the peak of the fall tree color season, whatever we want to call it. The leaf peepers, we call them. We get people come up here every year from all over the place just to see the aspens change, just to see yellow and orange and red aspen trees. I mean, it's just colors, man. I guess, you know, it's beautiful to the eye, you know, I guess, yeah. It's important to appreciate beauty in the world. Abandoned Citizen, man. He sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. I'll be back. Yeah. Yep, the LGBT, they stole our fucking shit, man. They stole the rainbow. You know? We used to love the rainbow, man. Used to be for everyone. It's just the colors of the rainbow, man. How could they turn it into their logo? But yeah, that only thing going on this week is still the fucking, everybody's still talking about Charlie. Poor Charlie, man. I'm doing a lot of research on that this week, man, and because there's nothing else really happening. It's all that anybody's talking about, right? You could tell where a person sits by how they, you know, their stance on that issue. You know, I mean, you got to be careful what you say, you know, really. You can't just talk. I can't just sit here and say what I really think about it, because yeah, it'll go against the community guidelines. If I tell you people what I really think about that whole Charlie thing, CK. Yeah, I was looking at some videos on some other platforms, some other video sites on the internet, and interesting, to say the least. That's not. I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, but yeah, it's fucking just you guys know how I think about these sort of things, and yeah, I think that even more now, you know. But you can't say what you think, because, you know, if somebody dies or something and you go against the official story, you know, it's disrespectful to their families, you know. Telling the truth and finding the truth and exposing the truth is disrespectful to families, you know, even though I think if someone I cared about was murdered like that, I would want to know the truth no matter what. I wouldn't get offended if somebody came out and pointed out an alternative narrative, you know, but you got to look, you know, but most people are, you know, they got their head buried in sand. What can you say? I mean, they don't want to know the truth, man. That's the truth. So, yeah, I've known that for a long time, you know, ever since I've been going down this fucking road. When I started really understanding what was going on in the world. At first, man, you're shocked, you know, when you first realize the truth about what's happening in the world, and then you want to, you can't understand how everybody doesn't understand, and you want to tell everybody what you know, but it doesn't work, man. People don't want to hear it. They think you know, most people will think you're insane when you keep telling them about this shit. They just don't want to talk to you anymore, you know. So you learn right from the beginning, when you go down this rabbit hole, as they say, that at some point you learn that, you know, you can't wake other people up, man. It's just, you can't get other people to see what you see, you know, and it's just not even worth it, because people are so set in their ways, and their apple carts are so, you know, set up that they cannot stand to have it disturbed, you know. So That's what's happening. So it's like that's how they stifle people from speaking truth, right? Because the vast majority of people don't give a shit. They don't want to hear it, and they will make rules against it. That's what they do here on YouTube. They make rules against it, and if you break those rules, they take your channel down. So. Or you can go to other websites. You can go to the other video sites and put it, but no one's going to see your video. You're not going to have an audience. I barely have an audience here on YouTube. If I tried live streaming on some of like Rumble or something, I would probably have nobody watching. I don't have many people watching here, but I got a small, tiny, micro audience. That I don't want to lose it. A lot of friends of mine, that I know through this channel that I've never met in real life, but we've been friends on this channel for, since I started like in 2012. Man, has a lot of shit happened since 2012, huh? Holy shit. Holy stanky. What was I in 2012? I think I just come to the realization at that point that it was kind of worthless to try to talk to other people about things other than sports. It's all you can really talk about it in public. Talk about sports all you want, but don't talk about politics or religion. That's just a rule, right? The rule here in America. You can't talk about sports or religion in public. It's just frowned upon. I don't care, man. I'll talk about it, but it doesn't really, you can talk about the weather too. The weather's fine. All you want. But even people will even argue about the fucking weather. You could tell someone, yeah, it looks like the forecasts are for like a kind of a cold, snowy winter this year. They'll argue with, oh, no, but no. Well, I heard it's going to be a really nice, mild winter. Yeah, it's weird, man. People just like to argue about anything. So you just learn, don't even talk to people about anything, man. Because, they're going to say something back to you and it might piss you off. Maybe they misunderstood what you said or you misunderstood what they said. And then, I could be a temperamental little bitch at times. If I think somebody said something to disrespect me, sometimes I can get pissy, man. If you want to know the weather, get the fuck outside. Yup. A lot of people don't get enough time outside, man. I'm glad I get plenty of outdoor time. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the world that hardly ever go outside. They just sit in front of their device and scroll. Death scroll. It'll be interesting to see where we're at in 20 years from now. I mean, my God, can't even fathom. I never thought we would be where we are right now 20 years ago. I was hoping for a much brighter future, but no, why should I have been? No. But 20 years ago, man, I didn't give a fuck, man. 20 years ago, all I cared about was chasing fucking the P word. If I didn't have someone to fornicate with, I was out looking for someone to fornicate with. That's all I cared about. But that, that's just the way we're trained in this world. When you're a young guy, you want to have as much sex as you possibly can. That's all you care about. But then, after, the events of 2001, right? I still, that definitely made me think about things a lot more, but I still didn't really care too much about what was going on in the world, didn't really pay much attention to it. But then there was this one dude I worked with, early 2000s, maybe 2004, 2005. And he told me a lot of shit, man. Because like he had the internet back then. I still didn't even had an internet connection in 2005. I did, but I was like dial up. It would take take all day to download one fucking photograph. So you couldn't really consider that you had an internet connection. It was like, that was so annoying. I didn't even use it until I finally got high speed internet in like 2011. But back then, if I wanted to use the internet, I would go to the library, you know. I started learning about the internet, but yeah, it's been a crazy 21st century. Then I think after that, you know, I started thinking about, and then what was it, 2010 or something, when the fucking Gulf oil spill happened. That really, and that was like right when I first got a half-ass internet connection, and I started watching YouTube and shit around that time. It was going down a deep rabbit hole. Have you seen the video of Kirk's wife? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I looked at a little. I didn't really look at it in all that much detail. But yeah, I have to look at it. Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. Yeah, she kissed his hand. Oh my God. It's creepy AF. Hand looks like rubber. Yeah, that's what I heard. I've seen the video, man. You know, and like I said, I don't want to go too much into it, man, because. But yeah, it's pointing out some things that were just not right. Put it that way. You know, you got to be careful what you say, man. It's very ultra sensitive right now with this Charlie Kirk thing. You know, the fucking algorithms watching everybody big time, see what you're going to say about it. You know, just waiting to pounce on you for breaking the guidelines. But no, I think you could say that, man. But you know, you just basically can't say anything about whether or not it was real. You know, you can't question the validity of the story because it's disrespectful to the family. Let's put it like that. And it goes against the community guidelines yeah, but your opinion, they don't care if it's your opinion. You see, your opinion is not allowed on a private website like YouTube. It's, you know, the normal rules of freedom of speech don't apply. Your opinion could get you in trouble on YouTube. It could get you banned. So yeah, it's fucking BS, but that's the way it is. But yeah, I don't care what you guys type in, but you know, but what I say, I just got to be careful, and I just can't come out straight out and say what I think. So I've done that before, and like one of my live streams, they took it down right when it was happening. All of a sudden, it just went blank, and you see they have like a referee blowing a whistle, like a cartoon of a referee blowing a whistle. I hate that fucking picture. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. Your content has been taken down and a strike has been applied to your channel. Yeah, I just got a strike, I think, a couple weeks ago. So I really don't want to get another one on top of it, but because you know the strike will go away in November. It's like that's how it works. If you get a strike, it stays on your channel for like 3 months or something, 2 or 3 months, and then they take it down as long as you don't get another strike in that amount of time. And if you get a second strike, they leave it up for like 6 months or something. And if you get a third strike in that time, your channel's gone. So, hey, batter. It's like, oh, really? For what? for saying something that goes against their community guidelines. It could be anything, man. They can put anything in their community guidelines. And if you talk about it, even if you don't know it's against, you automatically get a strike. It could be all kind. There's like a list as long as my arm of things you're not allowed to talk about. No, I've gotten away with talking about a lot of these things, but you got to be careful with it, man. But it just takes one thing, and then they got AI bots that sift through all the fucking videos on YouTube. Even, man, it's mind-boggling how they do it, because there's billions and billions and billions of videos on YouTube. These things are so fast they can go through and find out on like everybody's videos and just pick one out. Like I said, like that strike I got was like a 10-year-old video. It went back 10 years on the video. It was fucking stupid, man. The video was harmless, but they gave me a strike anyway. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, fucking, you got to be shitting. This fucking bullshit right here, you're going to give me a strike for? My God. I'm thinking that, they want to get rid of us, man. They want to get rid of all the you and YouTube. They just want it to be for the corporate elites. They want it to be a secondary cable TV network, basically, is what it's becoming. They want people, the only videos you're going to be able to watch in the future are going to be from ABC and NBC and Fox. Yeah, everybody else is going to be taken down. And just, yeah, that's where it's headed. So yeah, enjoy this platform while it lasts. I mean, but where are people going to go after this? That's the question. What's the next? Or will there be a next platform, for video sharing, for live streaming? I mean, there's already platforms out there, but they're not very popular. Sesame Street all over. Imagine that. Yeah. All you'll be able to watch on YouTube is fucking Fox News and Sesame Street. Because, yeah, they quit funding PBS. I was listening to the other day, and every once in a while I'll turn on PBS just to hear what the fucking bullshit they're talking. It's been a while, but yeah, for the last couple of weeks I've been listening to it a day or two here and there, and yeah, they're already talking about it. Yeah, we've lost our federal funding, so we need your support more than ever. Please support us. Our propaganda. The way those people talk, man, so depressing. I can't believe that people actually listen to PBS. I mean, it just makes me want to blow my fucking brains out listening to those people talk. I mean, it really is. Their voices are so monotone and depressing, and they all have the same fucking cadence. Okay, we're gonna go and talk. We're talking to. Yeah, the subject matter is just, man, just the most horrible shit. They push all the shit agendas. Well, what would you expect? In this world, it's really, really bizarro, man. I never thought it was like this, but it's the way it is. But most people don't, man. Most people don't understand it, man. They don't think, they don't care. That really boggles my mind too, man. That people just don't give a shit about anything. It's really bizarro, man. They don't want to hear it, man. They don't care. So yeah, that's where we're at. So I'd like to talk about these subjects more in depth, give my true opinions on them, really talk about it, but that would be frowned upon. We'll go ahead and we'll just talk about the weather. How's that? If you want to know about the weather, just fucking go outside. I heard that PBS television. That's the only channel worth of shit. Art, nature, funeral. It used to be that way. I don't know. I haven't watched PBS television in a long, long time. I listen to it on the radio, the NPR, National Public Radio. And they have one here called CPR, Colorado Public Radio. I don't really listen. I just tune in once in a while because and there'll be, so I'm looking for some talk on the radio, and that's like one of the few stations that come in where they're talking instead of listening to music. Once in a while, I like to hear talking. They're talking, and it's just, it's just nauseating. I mean, the way their tone of voice and their cadence, and it's just depressing, man. It really is. And it's been that way for a long time, man. I don't understand how people can listen to that shit, But there's people that listen to it every day. Man, no wonder why your fucking life sucks. Yeah. But if you listen to it, they all talk the same, man. It's very monotone and they sound very nice and polite, but they're really the evil face of fucking fascism. They come out, they're so nice, and they're like the talking snake, fucking Jungle Book, with their fucking brainwashed eyes. Yes, talk radio is absolutely no. There's some good talk radio. There is, but no, it's not NPR. But I'm sure there's some decent radio stations out there that have good chat and talk. But most of people that are into chat now are on the internet. They're not using the radio. So podcasts and live streams. Nowadays, it's taken over. That's why the corporate powers that be want to shut down everybody on YouTube and just turn it into another cable television system. That's what people are talking about, man, with the future of YouTube and why it is what But it's also been a trap all along, in my opinion. They knew exactly what they were doing when they started YouTube. It was all planned out to get all the internet videos on one platform, and they get everybody using it. I mean, that's the greatest thing ever, man. It's uncensored. It's fucking, freedom of speech, all that shit. It was like that for the first 4, 5, 6 years of YouTube. And then they just pulled the fucking rug out from under it. Now we got them. We got them all using this. We got the monopoly on online video. Now we can change everything because everybody's stuck here. And that's pretty much what it's been since like 2010, 11, 12, when they started changing everything. So, in my opinion, it was planned out all along. They knew exactly ever since they created the internet, they knew exactly what they were doing. It's been done before, I think. This is our history repeats over and over and over. I think they develop highly advanced civilizations and then they destroy them. And that's what we're seeing. And then they bring up a whole new batch of people that don't know. They give them the horse and buggy, and then they gradually bring them back into technology, and then they do it again. I believe that. So they know exactly what they're doing when they created the internet. And what they call it, the World Wide Web, because it's a trap. The internet, a net is a trap. A web is a trap. Probably a few decent stations on satellite radio, yeah. But who has a satellite radio anymore? Nobody. that was like big before online streaming became a thing. You know, when you could stream things on your phone, and it was pretty much the same thing as having satellite radio. So I think satellite radio just got taken down by the internet. But I think it still exists. But yeah, but most people now, since every square inch of the world is covered by fucking, you know, cell phone coverage, you know, even up here in the mountains, there's very few places you can go anymore in the mountains even that don't have cell phone coverage. So, you know, people don't need satellite anymore because every square inch of the planet is covered by cellular towers. I mean, they got huge cellular towers on the tops of these fucking mountains, man. They're just like monster, frightening looking things, like from a Godzilla movie. There's one right up there by Eldora, man, way on the fucking huge top of the mountain, man. It's huge. So, yep. The whole fucking world is covered by cell towers now. Remember when that was, you couldn't get any, back in like 2011, you couldn't get any coverage around here. There was no cell phone coverage. And then just like, they put a cell phone tower in Netherlands because the people didn't want it. A lot of people were trying to fight it. A lot of people didn't want a cell phone tower in Netherlands. And they finally put one in like in 2011. And they've been putting them up everywhere since. Because back then there was no cover. Now you can't find a spot without coverage. I don't know. Everybody. I was talking to a guy at the bar the other day, and he was telling me, we were talking about it. You know, he's like, "Look at that." I'm sitting there, and we're having a beer, and like look around, dude. Like there's 10 people in this bar, and fucking 7 of them are looking at their phone right now. Me and you and the bartender are the only ones that aren't looking at our phones right now. We started talking. He's like, "Wow, yeah, that's interesting, you know." But it was like, you know, I'm like one of the few people in the world that doesn't have a cell phone. Like, and I told him I would imagine at least 90% of the population has a cell phone today. So obviously he took out a cell phone and looked it up, and like, yeah, like 97% of Americans have a cell phone now. 97%. I couldn't believe it. Damn, that's even more than I thought. And then he said, and he looked at more, and 91% have a smartphone. So there's like 6% that don't have a smartphone. They just have like a flip phone or whatever. But yeah, so 91% of Americans have a smartphone. But yeah, then we're looking into what SMART meant. It's an acronym. SMART means like surveillance, monitoring, something, 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 you know. SMART, smartphone. It all had to do with surveillance and monitoring. That's why they call it a smartphone. So basically, everybody has one, and it's like fucking having an electronic leash around your neck. It blew my mind, man, when this guy told me that. So he just looked it up right there on his phone. You can look it up yourself right now. I'm sure all of you people have a phone. I'm the only person that doesn't. You don't even need. You can just look it up on your computer. But yeah, that's where the world's at, man. And it's really weird because, you know, in 2010, maybe 20% of people had a smartphone. Maybe 50% had a cell phone. But since then, you know, everybody's gotten rid of their landlines. Nobody has a landline anymore. They just have a cell phone. Pretty soon, landlines will be a thing of the past. You won't even have a landline anymore. Then you'll really be forced to get a cell phone. And you notice there's no more payphones anywhere. They got rid of all the payphones. It's become a relic of the past. They're still around, but none of them work. There's still a few payphones here and there. None of them work. I remember the last time I used a payphone was probably 2012, 2013. Yeah, pretty sure that was about. They had a payphone at the King Soopers down in Boulder that worked. And I used it a couple times. That was the last time. And now every time, I don't even bother to think about using the payphone anymore. But there's some around here still. None of them fucking work. You know, I don't get it, man. That's part of their plan, man. They don't want people to have an option to a cell phone. They want everybody having a cell phone is what it comes down to. You know, that's why I remember when Apple got rid of their iPods. I was like, why the fuck would they get rid of an iPod? I love my iPods. You know, I could fucking store all my music on there. Because I had the iPod Touch, it was very much like, I still have one. I bought the very last iPod Touch they made in 2020. You know, they don't make any iPods anymore. But you know, you could do everything a cell phone does except for make calls. And you can get an app to make calls too. If you have Wi-Fi signal, you could make phone calls over Wi-Fi. But I would say, why would they do away with iPods? Because they want everybody to get a phone. Lee, what's up? Payphones are all free here now, but the Gooberman don't want our dirty coins. Yeah, they have free phones there. That's an interesting. They would never do that here in the land of capitalism. Australia is a lot like the United States, I think. Same kind of system of capitalism. But that's interesting. But how many payphones are available? There's none available here anymore. None. None of them work anymore whatsoever. Why should they? 90% of the population has a fucking cell phone. You know? I have apps on I have an iPad and an iPod. I have app on my iPad. I can make phone calls over Wi-Fi, you know, in emergency situations. So I carry it with me, you know, so, if I'm going somewhere far away or whatever, and like, just in case like my car breaks down or something, I could find some Wi-Fi somewhere and call somebody. Why do you think people are so addicted? I heard when you receive a text from access a small amount of dopamine. Yes. That's exactly what it is. It's very powerful, man. It's very powerful. That's why people are so addicted to it, man. It's a very, very powerful thing. And it's like psychological warfare is what it is, really what it is. And like total control, man, total mind control. It's bizarre. And people just opted into it. They volunteered to have their minds controlled by these devices. And they think twice about it. 97% of the population. It's just a necessity, to have a cell phone. And it's just horrible. It's a tracking device. It puts out all kinds of fucking radiation and shit. So even if you don't have one, I'm living in a soup of microwave radiation everywhere I go. Because there's so many people around me with smartphones, they doesn't even think twice about it. What is this technology really doing to me? Not a thought. If you even mention it to them, they'll look at you like you're out of your fucking mind. They're still in all towns here. iPads are like a big iPod. Yeah, I never leave home without one. Yes, I'm afflicted. But I like carry mine for necessity. You know, if I need to use, because I don't have a cell phone. You know, so if I have to make an emergency phone call, I got my iPad. I can just go to a library or something that has Wi-Fi. But no, it's just the whole thing is just not good. I think, in my opinion, all this wireless radiation. You know, I got it in my house, man. I got Wi-Fi in my house. You know, and I shouldn't. I got a smart meter on my house. You know, so yeah, I'm being exposed to a lot of, you know, electromagnetic frequency is what it is. And people don't think about it. You know, they don't think about it because they can't see it. It's invisible. You know, how can this be dangerous? They don't have no clue that they are an electromagnetic fucking being. You know, your whole nervous system is based on an electrical field. You know, and you know, these devices interfere with it, man. You know, no doubt about it. Probably get in trouble for saying that. You can't talk about our technology like that. It goes against our guidelines. Who the hell you think you are, boy? Well, yeah, it's I'm not afflicted, but yeah, because I don't have that phone with me all 24/7. It's like the Lord of the Rings, man. He had the magic ring with him. He became addicted to it. So I've heard people making that comparison to that book, and the rings were like technology that had, like, you know, and technology is magical. You know, people think. Anywho's. It's interesting. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, maybe cell phones could be perfectly safe and benevolent, and I'm just freaking out. But no, for sure, even if they're safe, you know, physically, but the mental aspect, I think it's destroyed a lot of people's fucking minds, man. Especially young kids and shit that have just been they've been exposed to this technology all their lives. They've never known a world without it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I guess I could be wrong, but man, I just don't like it, man. I really wish that this technology was never foisted upon us, man. You know, even the world, you know, was a lot different before it. You know, it was a lot better. And it was a lot, well, people say, the world before all this technology, the world was boring. You know, you only had 13 channels on the television to choose from. No, that's where I grew up. I grew up in Los Angeles. Yeah, we had 13 channels because that was the biggest market in the world for television. That was even before cable television took over. You know, now everybody's got hundreds and hundreds of channels that are fucking shit. That's why I got rid of the shit, man. I was tired of watching the same reruns for fucking 10 years. No shit. It would show you the same fucking reruns for 10, 20 years in a row. Like, God damn. It's got to be, you know, ridiculous. And they're charging you almost $100 a month. Fuck this shit. I don't need this garbage anymore. And most of it, you know, all the commercials you got to watch, never ending fucking reruns. Yes, I am an old dinosaur. Yeah. You know, the world back then had its drop. You know, having it was brainwashing still. You know, everybody had a television, and most Americans watched a lot of television. You know, it's just American thing to do was to fucking watch a lot of television. You know, and that kind of morphed into the internet. You know. But yeah, before the internet, you know, everybody watched television. Smell-o-vision. Well, there was a few people here and there that didn't watch television at all. But then, you know, yeah, smartphone, the greatest surveillance device ever conceived. Yeah. Library here has more space, computers, and books now. Not that I go there. Yeah, no, you know, people don't even use the computers in the library anymore because everybody's got a smartphone in their pocket. You know? They can just instantly look up anything they want. It's amazing. Having all the knowledge in the world in your fucking pocket. And most of them are desk scrolling on fucking TikTok, whatever. Oh yes, surveillance, monitoring, something. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can look it up. If that'll come up. Let's see, SMART acronym. Acronym. SMART, special, measurable, achievable. No, that's not what I'm talking about. SMART is an acronym for the mnemonic device to establish criteria, objective goal setting, and objective development. No. That's what Google wants you to think. There's another acronym that has to do with surveillance, monitoring. Man, they even have dinosaur emojis, for fuck's sakes. Eric the dinosaur. Did dinosaurs really make noises? Or did they even fucking exist? Yeah, that's right. I'm a fucking dinosaur denier. You know, I think they found some big old bones that were probably like whale bones or something. Said, holy shit. Look at these giant bones. These are dinosaurs. But it has proven, man, a lot of the dinosaur skeletons that you see in museums are all fucking fake. They were made in a fucking warehouse in China. A rooster cooed, so why not? Yeah, because the birds just descended from dinosaurs. So yeah, that's interesting. I love all the conspiracy theories, right? I'm into all of them. Dinosaurs are fake. Fucking moon landings, but yeah. Yeah, that comes back down to you got to be careful what you say in this platform if you want to keep your channel. It's so ridiculous. You can't even state your opinion without getting a strike. Who cares what I think? YouTube's community guidelines does. I don't care what people think, really. Why are these people so uptight about what people think, about what ideology you're trying to spread to other people? So it's like, yeah, your ideology is like a fucking virus, and we can't have you spreading it around to other people, so we must silence you. Basically, is what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a big part. That's a big part of what's going on these days, man. Big part of the story, the censorship and the controlling of narratives, right? What they want people to believe, what they want to silence, and they want to call you crazy for talking about certain things, Yeah, there's a lot of people out there with a lot at stake, a lot riding on the system. So they want to make sure everything stays the way it is. Like George, I think Bill Hicks talked about that. Yeah, Bill Hicks. He's like, one day I just realized it's just a ride. The whole world is like, all life and everything is just a ride, and it's fun and it's fast, like a roller coaster ride. It's got sharp turns and bright lights and loud noises, but then one day you realize it's just a ride. And like, he's like, but then some other person would say, no, it's not. This has got to be real. Look at my huge bank account and my furrows of worry in my eye. Has to be real. Yeah. But if you look deep enough into matter, there's nothing there. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I've been wanting to say that for a while. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah. That's what they come to the conclusion, man. So I'm just going to put that in my pipe and smoke it for a second. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Little congestion lately. But yeah. The deeper, farther and farther they look into with like electron microscopes, the less and less they find. It's just basically saying that the material world is really just a fucking illusion. That's mind-boggler right there, man. Yeah, so maybe Bill Hicks was right. It's just a ride. It's all mental. The whole universe is just a mental construct, and there really is no real matter without consciousness. Yeah, it's just a ride. David, I called it the movie. Yeah. Try not to be too controlled by you. Mr. Adams Apple's out, man. He doesn't like where this conversation is going. You got a big, I don't got a very big Adam's apple, man. I mean, hope that doesn't make me less of a man, but David, I called it the movie. Yeah. You know what George Carlin called it? the super electron. Yep. David Icke also called it a holographic universe. That's another thing that David Icke talks about, which is, to me, it's a very interesting concept. The universe is kind of like a fucking video game, right? I'm not saying it's true, but it's very interesting. Like, none of it exists until some conscious entity observes it, and then it fucking renders itself. They call it the superposition. Quantum physics and all that shit. Yeah, like quantum. The universe is a giant quantum computer. So yeah, we're basically living in a quantum computer. Yeah, quantum computer can do. It's pretty amazing what a quantum computer can do, because they do exist, and it blows the shit out of a conventional digital computer or whatever. It's like a magnitude of order, faster, like the way it works. I've done some, not research, but I watched some videos on it, about how a quantum computer works. To really understand the concept it's like infinitely fast. That would be needed, something like that, to create a hologram like we live in, That would explain why the deeper they look into matter, they can't find anything. There's nothing here, man. It's basically we're living in a computer. But yeah, how come then I can feel? Is that feel and touch? Is that part of the fucking, yeah? But maybe your consciousness is like the one thing. Oh, I don't know. I've just gone bug-eyed. That's the one thing that boggles my mind. Is your consciousness being simulated too? Wow. You got a damn cheek picking on our phone. You and Gordon, jealousy's a bitch. Got a damn cheek picking on our phone. Yeah. No, I'm not picking on your phones, man. I'm like, I think it's there should be public phones everywhere, man. Just for people, the 3% that don't have a cell phone. I'm part of the 3%, man. That's amazing. Talk about cell phones, and I'm going all the way down this rabbit hole into the holographic universe where we're living. Yeah. The universe only renders itself when it's being observed. That's the idea. If there's no conscious person observing anything, it kind of just disappears like in a video game until you look at it again, and then it goes back into position. I think there's possibly something like that going on. I mean, I'm not saying that's the truth, but it's very interesting to me. Yeah, I think it's highly possible. Bloody tyrannosaur asses. But yeah, that's a big controversial thing that I don't necessarily believe in. Dinosaurs. I don't know. I've seen a lot of evidence that shows how they fucking made up dinosaurs, maybe. But that could just be me being gullible, believing whatever I see on the internet. I don't know. I'm skeptical about everything. But why? Why? Why would they fake fucking dinosaurs, man? Come on. Come on, man. Why would they fake all kinds of things that they fake? I don't know. But somehow they have a fucking strong need to fake shit. I mean, I think everybody knows something that has been faked and proven to be fake. Right? Why do humans have such a proficiency for faking shit? I don't know. It's interesting. Or just giant puppies, yeah, like on the Flintstones. Yeah, and a lot of people think that humans and dinosaurs existed at the same time, like in those old movies. Yeah, it took a lot for me to come to this leap of conclusion that maybe dinosaurs have been faked. Because I was most of my life, I love dinosaurs, man. I thought they were the coolest thing, and then I started learning how they could manipulate shit and fake shit. And then why would they do that, man? I don't know. If you want to believe in dinosaurs, you can. I'm not saying don't. It's one of those things. I can't prove it or disprove it, but I have my doubts about everything. But they found there's some big bones, that exist from real animals that live on Earth. And maybe they made up a story, man. They found a bunch of old dead whales' bones and started assembling them into a way that made it look like a creature. Look at that. Look at the teeth on that thing. Maybe it was like some descendant of the killer whale or something, like a giant orca. It had big teeth. That's just my. Maybe I would like to be wrong. I would like to believe that dinosaurs actually did exist. And maybe someday they can be cloned back into existence, like the movie Jurassic Park. Should be more worried about mad scientists bringing back the dire wolf. Yes, that would be frightening. Dire wolf don't sound like a good thing. I'm picturing like some giant fucking wolf that would run in packs and just destroy everything. See, tough up. I don't want to burst your bubble, man. You go on and believe in dinosaurs and giants. I'm not saying they never did exist. Have my skepticalities. Nice to see you. A dire wolf. Yeah, they could like clone dire wolves. I don't know. I'd have to look up dire wolves. There's like some fossil they found. Hey, Ken Rotman in the house. How you going? How are things down under? You guys are coming back into springtime. Good for you guys. It's your time of year to shine. We're heading into the dark bowels of fucking winter. No, I've never seen Game of Thrones. I don't watch that crap. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Weather's get better here. Nice. I'm sure it's got to get better. You guys are heading into the spring. The weather's just going to get worse here for the next 8 months. Let's see. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, 8 months. We got 8 months of the cold months. Till like the second part of May, we finally start to warm up if we're lucky. The last winter didn't really warm up till like June, the middle of June. As I recall, yeah, it wasn't super cold, but the weather stayed like in the 60s, 50s and 60s for May into the middle of June. And we finally hit 70 by the middle of June. So yeah, all you people in Australia, you could do the conversion. There were 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It took to get there until like the middle of June. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, so cloud looks like it's gonna rain some more tonight. That means it's probably gonna be chilly in the morning. I might have to start a fire. I'm trying to not start fires or turn on my furnace. Try to just deal with the chill till it really gets cold before I start using my resources. Oh, Dire Olsen, Game of Thrones. Okay. So they would like be out there as like hunting humans, basically. Oh, yeah, those movies are sadistic, aren't they? Like the Hunger Games and the Game of Thrones. It's like treating people like fucking dog shit, basically, for the wealthy. Using people, killing people for their fucking amusement. That's becoming more and more popular, right? Movies like that. And then they had the Squid Games. Supposedly was fake. But when is it going to get to a point where it's real? Watching people torture each other but yeah, it's become a thing. And yeah, I've seen videos where they torture people, and if they could survive the torture, they get paid. Yeah, it's pretty sick world, man. You can quit at any time, but they throw people into a shitty situation and see who can survive the longest. Whoever survives the longest gets paid the money. Everybody else goes home broke. Yeah, that's a big thing these days. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it. And then they put the videos up. And they show these people. You got to stay in this room. Whoever leaves the room last wins. And it's just sick shit, man. Can you imagine that? All right, there's 20 people in this room, and whoever stays in this room the longest gets paid. Everybody else goes home broke, empty-handed. Imagine that shit. Yeah, that's the kind of shit that's gaining popularity these days, is like reality TV. Like people like Mr. Beast are into shit like that. And even worse than him. Spring has come. Tathra Pub and Cafe is busy now. Nice. There's a topless picnic at the beach. Damn. Nah, yeah, fuck you. You guys know how to live, man. That's a hippie chick catching some sun. That's how it is at the ski areas in the springtime. Hippie chicks skiing and snowboarding around with their like bras on. It all started with Rollerball. That was a movie like back in the 70s. I remember hearing about that movie. And like it was like a battle royale or something like it. Yeah, they got to roll around until one person was left. Everybody else had to die. Yeah. That was I got to look at that movie again. I remember I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was a kid, man. It was too gory, I guess. My parents wouldn't let me watch it. And then Death Race 2 nipples bouncing off me. But now this is what it's evolved into in the real, world of the 21st century internet world that we live in today. It's bizarre. So they put 20 people in a room and like last man standing wins. It's just so disgusting. No, they would bring them every once in a while food. They would bring them enough food to survive. And they had like one fucking bathroom, whatever. And like they had to take turns cleaning the bathroom or whatever. And or someone would, and then the people that were running the thing would like fuck with people. Yeah, it was really weird. Or they would give favoritism to some people, and then it was, really, really bizarre where the human mind can go, man. To what's the word for people that narcissists or whatever? They could use their strength to fucking exploit other people. And then they'll just put it on the internet and make money from other people watching it. Because that's how sick their fucking minds are. God damn. I mean, I'm sure there's way worse things than that on the dark internet or whatever. They might have some where they got to eat each other or something. Who knows? I would imagine there's some sick shit going on in the world. Any sick, weird thing that you could imagine is probably really going on somewhere. Sadly, I don't understand why humans are so fucked up. There's a lot of sick fucking people in the world, man. I know, I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I hate to use that term, but it's true. I ain't gonna lie. Everybody says that now, right? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, everybody talks the same nowadays. They're all brainwashed by internet, fucking by text culture, because all they do is they text each other all the time. So they all have the same fucking annoying language. Yes. No, yeah. At least I admit it, right? Most people live in denial. I'm not crazy. Everybody else is fucking crazy. Bullshit. You're fucking crazy as a fucking batshit. You're the kind of crazy made from the shit of a bat. But that's what happens, man. Living on this world for such a long time. You end up going batshit crazy. Some people go crazy early in life, man. No, I think most people, a lot of fucking crazy people are just misunderstood by the world. It's the world that's insane. The crazy person sees things perfectly fucking fine, whereas the rest of the world is fucked up in the head. Yeah, I think so. People that live in normality are real crazy ones. Wow, dude, that's deep. Living in normality is insane. I never could do it, man. That's why I never finished high school. You say, "Oh no, you're just a failure, man." Yeah, you're a loser. I'm a loser because I couldn't fucking finish high school. Well, that's how the most of society would look at me, man. A fucking worthless piece of shit dropout. When it comes to texting, dodgy shorthand grammar, you're married to an English teacher. Didn't? Oh shit! I couldn't imagine being married to an English teacher. That must have been fucking hell. Always correcting your fucking speech. Oh dear. But yeah, I think you can't get to be my age without fucking losing some part of your mind. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. That's why, yeah, I can say whatever I want, man, and then I could just say, maybe I'm wrong. You know, that's like gives me license to fucking say stupid shit, because I could always say, I could be wrong about that, but whatever, that's a buffer zone, man. People, you say something controversial, you can always say, I could be wrong about that. Even though you and I both know that I'm fucking absolutely right about that. But it's polite to say, "Oh, I could be wrong." But so it's like when somebody says "no offense," you know what they're going to say next is going to offend you. Who finished high school? Oh, was she? No, she was a sweet. I'm the quietest woman I ever met. Thank God. Susan did correct my American spell. There you go. See, back in them days, you didn't have grammar check on your smartphone. Or maybe you did. I don't know. Nice to have someone to correct you when you're wrong. It can be annoying at times. Maybe I'm wrong on purpose, Maybe I'm purposely spelling this word wrong. Who the fuck are you to tell me how to spell a word? I think I can spell it any way I want to, whether or not you can interpret it any way you want to. That's why it pisses me off, like some, online internet shit where you got to have a passport or password. And you can't use any password you want to use. That sucks. They say, no, that you got that password. Why not? It's my password, bitch. I'm the only person that's gonna fucking use it. Why are you telling me that I can't use the password that I'm gonna remember? No, you gotta tell me how many letters and symbols and fucking exclamation points I gotta have in my goddamn fucking password. Hey, Mr. Adam's apple finished high school. It didn't do you any good though, huh? Fuck. Why you didn't never go to college? If you would have went to college, man, you could have been somebody. Yeah, but education is very important. It's very important that everybody gets a formal education. I could have been somebody, man, if I would have cared about getting a formal education when I was a young person. It wasn't important to me. Now I pay the price. I could have, I had every opportunity like any other person from my generation to have gotten a damn good formal education. For some reason, man, I chose not to. I hated school. No. So here I am. If I would have chose the opposite, who knows if I would have chose different at a young age. I was too dumb. And yeah, my parents didn't really give too many shits. So that's it. It's all about parenting, man. If you want to have good children, you got to be a good parent. Not that I have anything against my parents, man. They tried their best, but they weren't cut out to be parents too much. But back in them days, it just happened, right? People got pregnant. Then we weren't planning on getting pregnant. It just happened. But now, nowadays, there's very few people having children, and you don't see too many people walking around with babies. Very few. I mean, I see it every once in a while. I noticed like there's less and less cars at the schoolyard, at the school parking lot. Every year there's like fewer because there's fewer students. There's fewer children. It dawned on me. The parking lot's half full now because half the amount of kids that used to go to this school are going there now. It tells you that people are having less kids today. Like for a lot of reasons, I think. Their population control is working. Oh, I shouldn't have said. A lot of the things they've done is paying off. The population is definitely seems to be. No, they're going to keep telling us it's increasing. But yeah, they're going to keep telling us the population is increasing, but I keep seeing fewer cars in the school parking lot every day, and less and less kids out on the road, and not very few people with babies. Maybe that's just, it's just where I live. People aren't having, I've seen a couple babies recently, but yeah, not too many. Not like you used to see. I think I remember seeing a lot more people with babies in the past. I don't know. I could be wrong. Yeah, that's for sure. That's my disclaimer I use for everything. I could be wrong. I don't claim to be all knowing. I'm just talking out my ass. I'm just talking to talk, man. Just to fill this live stream. So I just talk. I just tried punching out a mosquito. That's crazy. Mosquitoes. That's one thing we got in common, man, with Australia. We all have mosquitoes. I guess they're everywhere. I'd like to find a place you could live that doesn't have any mosquitoes. I would move there tomorrow. I know, yeah, I know. A friend of mine went camping this summer. Him and his wife are going on a big annual camping trip over to driving up to Wyoming to this lake. They stayed there one night and fucking bailed because there was so many mosquitoes. They were supposed to stay for like 3 or 4 nights. Canada is tortured with FQ weapons. Holy shit. That doesn't surprise me, man. They're doing the same thing all over the world. Lisa, no mosquitoes here in the forest? Yeah. I imagine if you go out far enough out into the outback of Australia, there's no water for the fucking mosquitoes to reproduce in. In an area that's very arid and dry, mosquitoes can't live. But somehow they find a fucking way. It's amazing. Living in a place without snakes would be nice. Yes. Snakes. I love snakes, but snakes here in America are harmless. Except for the occasional rattlesnake. Most of the snakes here are they're nice little friends. They don't bother you. Yeah. I can imagine, in Australia, they got some snakes that are fucking deadly. Yeah. Or they might not be deadly, but if they bite you, you're gonna wish that they hadn't. Yeah, we barely get a decent night's sleep. I've heard of that, man, because of the frequency buzzing. Yeah. I know, like I try to unplug my Wi-Fi every night before I go to bed. If I remember, sometimes I forget, but yeah, it's probably a good thing. If you have Wi-Fi in your house, fucking at least unplug it when you're not using it. I'm on the East Coast. We have a lot of insectivorous, bats and frogs, mozzies, and don't have a chance. They call them mozzies. I see one every few months. Mozzies. That's a great name. It's not easier than saying mosquito. Mosquito. Oh dear, I've been bitten by a mosquito. Oh no, I've been bitten by several mosquitoes. I hate them. mosquitoes and fucking. We have horse flies and deer flies. God, oh, those things bite you. You know you've been bit. It's hard to believe such a tiny little insect could fucking have such a painful bite. Yeah. I think one way that you could torture people would like tie them up and like just like release a bunch of fucking deer flies. Oh, I'm sure it's been done. Don't put any ideas in people's heads. Oh yeah, that would be torture for me. Oh no, I don't want to give anybody any ideas. Yeah, just put them in a chamber and release a bunch of deer flies. Ooh. Boo. That's gruesome, man. I would be saying, please, Lord, let me die right now. I just can't. We live in the most mosquito-infested place in Australia. And according to Mr. Google, Mr. McGoogle. That's a good name for him, Mr. McGoogle. He's almost like Mr. Magoo, but he's Mr. McGoogle. That what? If it's one of the most infested in Australia, it's got to be ridiculous. We got some places here in the United States that are fucking just ridiculous infested with mosquitoes. Mosquito? Is that how you say it? Mosquito. No, the U is silent. We call them skeeters. Skeeters. Oh, I got bit by a skater. You call them mozzies. We call them skeeters. Man, this place is just thick with skaters. Get the fuck out of here. You know, there was the fish was biting. So was the skeeters. Yeah, over there, them skeeters, man. Oh, fuck. They'll eat you to death. But yeah, that's what he told me, man. It was so bad at that lake up in Wyoming where they went camping that it was so fucking bad that it said that the sky looked like a cloud. But the cloud was all fucking mosquitoes. It's like he had to like crawl in, him and his wife are staying inside their van. Yeah, they had to crawl inside the van. And there was so many in the van that they just kept getting bit by the ones that got inside the van. So they were just like, killed as many of them as they could. Fucking went to sleep and woke up the next morning and fucking bailed. It sounds like a fucking horror movie almost. That's what he told me, man. So that's what's transpired. I know for a fact that they came back the next day. They stayed for one night. They drove like 6 or 7 hours to Wyoming, stayed there for one night. Then the next morning they fucking drove back home. Said, fuck it. But they were, people a little elderly, like 60s and 70s, He's like 70 and like she's like maybe 60. Yeah, not any easy answers to get rid of skeeters. Like you need, like they do in Florida, they go around and spray, and who knows what that's doing. Yeah, they spray over there for mosquitoes. They say, oh yeah, these mosquitoes are spreading diseases. Yeah. West Nile was one, and the other. So we have to spray for mosquitoes to, cut down on this possibility of this kind of disease spreading or whatever. So yeah. So what it basically comes down to is they're fucking spraying chemicals all over populated areas. Haven't had any frogs here for a while. Fucking, I haven't seen a frog. Long time since I've seen a frog. After you hear them everywhere. They're like a barometer for the fucking ecosystem too, man. Yeah, I remember I haven't seen frogs like I used to when I was a kid, man. You know why? Because they turned all the frogs gay. I told you people decades ago they're going to be turning the fucking frogs gay. And look at that. Now frogs have quit reproducing. No, it's bizarre. Our saver Bill A is bringing in the super mosey. Yeah. Yeah, fuck now. What are you going to do against an army of super mozzies? The trans mosey? Damn. That's frightening. But yeah, that's where we're going. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. So, I think it's been a really, really good chat. I think we're gonna wrap it up though. Like, thank you all for being here, everybody. Nice to see you, Ken, Lee, Super D, Abandoned Citizen, Ken, Tough Puff, all you motherfuckers, Usual Suspect, man. I appreciate you guys, man. That's why I come back and do this every week. Let's see. I don't know how much time we'll have next week. But if I don't see you next week, I'll see you in October. We'll see what develops up between then and now. It should be interesting though, man. So yeah, I'll be back next week. I'll try to, or maybe the week after. But yeah, love you guys. Have a great week or two, and I'll see you soon.